Hi, welcome to Story and Things. We are a podcast that reviews different types of stories.
And also talks about things.
Some things.
Sometimes. But we're not story and time, so we're story and things.
I am your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli. We're here. We're here because Book Talk made us come here.
Were you forced by Book Talk?
I saw this book everywhere.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been seeing it. I think it was because I don't remember what event happened, but there were a lot of people recommending LGBTQ books, and I always kept seeing this book recommended. And want to know a thing? Didn't put two and two together until I read it.
You know, it's funny because I had no idea what this book was about, and I didn't know that it was LGBTQ plus.
Damn. No, see, the thing is, I knew, but I didn't know until I got to that point. But I'm glad it was.
You were reading and you were like,
wait,
what's happening?
Yeah, in this retelling of Sleeping Beauty.
Which you've never seen.
I haven't. But you know what? I told you I hadn't watched it, and you gave me such a good synopsis that I might as well have already watched it.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Príncipe Felipe is not in the book, though. Were you sad?
A little bit.
A little sad. I mean,
But it's okay.
they did see each other in their dreams. Oh my god. It doesn't matter, I guess. But you also have not seen Maleficent.
No. I'm so sorry.
Did you have any expectations coming into this?
I will talk about that while we talk about how we feel. But
Can we watch Maleficent?
Yeah.
Not to discuss.
Right now. Actually, you want to pause
in
really
the background.
quick? I know. We're just going to put it here so you're going to see us constantly looking up.
Not for the podcast, though. Just for us.
Just for us. Oh, as friends.
As friends.
You're actually going to allow me to hang out with you after this podcast. That's so sweet of you.
Only this weekend. But not next time.
Okay. No, it's fine.
I have boundaries.
Let me give a quick summary of this story. The one we're talking about is Malice, which is written by Heather Walter.
Mm-hmm.
And this story is set in a mystical world where there's magic and shit.
Yeah.
And we follow this story through the perspective of our main character, Alice. Alice is known as two things. She's known as a Vila and a Grace. So a Grace...
Dark Grace.
Yeah, so a Grace is basically a witch whose blood has magical powers. However, due to her blood being green and being able to cause harm instead of the other things that other Graces are known for, like beauty, pleasure, wisdom, she is labeled the Dark Grace and is not liked by most people. She's not liked by her customers, by her sisters that live in the Lavender House. All the Graces that work there, they don't like her.
The entire society does not like her.
She has a very lonely life. She has like one sister, one friend in the Lavender House named Laurel, but it's very much like, oh yeah, she's nice to me, but it doesn't really talk much to me.
Doesn't really defend her, but she's nice to her. Also, typically the Graces will have gold blood.
Yeah. So she's a rare one for having green blood. She was even experimented on when she was a baby because they wanted to know why her blood was green. The sad normal life of hers changes when she meets a man named Cal who is cursed to live in an abandoned building. It's like a tower.
It's a tower, yeah.
And she feels inclined to know more about him, although also scared. Only because he mentions her birth mother, which she never knew who it was, and he knew her by name. Lenore. So he feels a need to help him because he also reveals that not only is she a Vila, she's also something called a shifter, which is a type of magic that doesn't exist anymore.
Because they were killed off.
Yeah, they were killed off because they were considered monsters.
It's literally what it sounds like. She can shift into anything.
Yeah, she can make... Yeah, it's morphin time. Cut to the present time. Cut to the present time in the book. The Lavender House gets invited to Princess Aurora's birthday bash.
Oh my gosh, sweet 16?
Actually, sweet 20.
Oh yeah, 20.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And everyone begins to joke that Alice is not going to go because she's not fit for that type of shit.
Yeah, she's not really considered a Grace.
And she gets offended and is like, bitch.
Well, now I want to go.
Now I want to go. But the world all works against her because her clients are coming in her patrons are coming in very late. Even though she can technically go to this masquerade, because it is a masquerade, she looks disgusting and doesn't even have a dress. But thank God for fucking Laurel, who came in clutch and bought her a dress. And she's like, you know what? Fuck everyone. I'm gonna go to this fucking ball. Mm-hmm. And she does.
And she disguises her green veins because she has green blood. So she's disguising her veins and they look golden. Yes. So everyone thinks she's a typical Grace. So they're treating her so differently.
So nicely.
And she's just like, is this what it's like?
I know. She even gets hit on by this guy named Arnley. Mm-hmm. But while she's there, one of the sisters from Lavender House, Rose, hella calls her out and is like, look at this bitch. That's the dark Grace. You've been dancing with the dark Grace. And, looks at her with disgust. Yeah. So this is where she sees Aurora for the first time. Mm-hmm. And actually gets shocked because she witnesses Aurora being shown a gentleman who is a candidate for being the true love's first kiss, because Aurora is cursed with...
The whole bloodline is cursed.
Yeah, with death. Unless true love's first kiss comes before the age of 21.
Yeah, so she has a mark on her forearm that indicates that she's cursed.
Mm-hmm. And after this kiss happens, freaking Alice is like, is anyone seeing this fucking shit? Like, what the fuck? And Aurora takes, her sleeve and is like, look at it, everyone. And everyone's like, oh, still there.
How many birthday bashes are we going to have?
Well, apparently only one. Apparently only one more after this one.
No, because that would be the funeral.
Oh, you're right.
This is the last one.
Man. So, after Rose makes fun of Alice, Alice leaves in anger and...
Well, she doesn't just make fun of her. She humiliates her.
After being humiliated by Rose, Alice leaves in anger and ends up in a place that has this stream. And she touches the stream and tries to... Oh, it's a fountain.
Yeah.
And she touches the fountain, trying to wash her face to cool herself off.
And she...
didn't realize that she was bleeding and her blood turned everything to, muddy water. Mm-hmm. And she's like, God fucking damn it, why?
She knows that her blood taints things, so it tainted the water.
Yes.
And at this moment, Princess Aurora shows up behind her, and she's just like, oh, saw what happened in there. Kind of wild. Yeah. She was like, do you want me to kick her out? Because it's my birthday party, so I can kick her out if you want me to.
I love this part because Aurora is very unlike what you would think she is. Mm-hmm. Doesn't act as regal as you would think a princess would act.
Aurora is completely mesmerized by what she did with the fountain, and she's just like, oh my god, you made it even better, which surprises Alice because no one has ever seen her power as anything but evil. So she's just like, okay,
thanks, I guess, but doesn't read too much into it because Alice already knows that no one really likes her or wants to be friends with her, so it's like, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. So just to speed things along, this entire book becomes a story of perseverance as Alice is trying to harness her magic's true potential through Cal's lesson, the guy who's in the tower and cursed to stay in the tower. Mm-hmm. And also a story of friendship and love. As her and Aurora form a bond and work together to try to get rid of Aurora's curse without true love's first kiss.
And that's pretty much the spoiler-free summary of Malice.
So let's spoil.
So let's hella spoil now. So let's start off by talking about our characters. Who do you want to start off with? Should we start off with the main one or with Aurora?
Let's start off with Alice. Okay. Because the story's about her, so it's her time to shine.
But there's just so much to say about her. What do you think about Alice?
I like her as a character. It's really sad because you see the progression of her just becoming more villainous.
More Malice?
I know. She's just becoming more
Malicious?
malicious
Just say it.
because thank you. I was kind of scared. She's becoming more malicious because of how the world
Sees her, treats her,
yep,
views her.
and it sucks. But I really think she was beautifully written as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like we did really see her progression to the final point of this story, which I will talk about later.
Yeah.
What about you? How'd you feel about her?
Without giving too many spoilers, because there are certain things that I want to talk about, but we'll get there. I really liked her character because she is so aware of the world that she lives in, and yet she still believes everyone's perception of her. So even though she knows that people are being hypocritical, that, they think she's disgusting, they think her magic is gross, and yet she has all of these patrons lining up because, they want to use her magic without actually explicitly saying, yeah, I want to go curse somebody.
Yep.
She knows this. She knows that people are vile, but she still believes them when they tell her, like, oh, you're less than. So I like that because it just shows that she's been brainwashed. And I do like her development of trying to become a better person, trying to see her power in a different light, but only getting to the end of how it ends.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Aurora?
How do I feel about Aurora?
We're saying it in Spanish.
The amount of times that I highlighted so much about her. You know how there's like a text prediction, like what you're gonna say? Aurora was the first thing. My iPad was like, we know you're gonna talk about her again. I loved her character. I really loved that from the very beginning when Alice saw her at her birthday bash. She noticed that Aurora wasn't disappointed when the kiss didn't turn out to be, her true love's kiss that broke the curse. Because she knew that even if her curse was broken, she was still going to be chained to the man that would break the curse. She would be forced to marry them, forced to rule with them. She's pretty much just like decor. She has bigger aspirations than what her parents want to give her or want to provide for her. And that's what I really loved about her. And I also really loved that she wanted to find a way to break the curse without the kiss.
Yep. I love her. I love her. She's a progressive princess. She's going to be a progressive queen.
Yeah.
I also really, really like her for all that you said too. She's so freaking good. Like, when we talk about both characters together, I'll get more into it. But yes, I think she's a really good character too.
And she had big plans on changing how the world views the Graces as well. Because
they're really only used as like a way to make higher ups and royalty look pretty, aesthetic purposes, not really much else. And then also, look at Alice, who's being used for hurting others, but it's like, okay, because they're just Graces.
Yeah.
They just work for us.
Yeah, they're very expendable. Even when they use their powers, the more that they use their powers, the more that it gets sucked out of them. Mm-hmm. So they reach a point where they are no longer useful, quote unquote.
And then afterwards, they get kind of relocated to a new home and forgotten.
Yeah, they're no longer important anymore. Mm-hmm. All right, how about before we talk about our main characters together, let's talk about Alice's environment, as in the sisters, not sisters.
In Lavender House.
How did you feel about them?
I don't understand why Alice got so much hate. Well, I do, but at the very beginning, it didn't click to me why everyone hated her so much, because they're all in the same position. They're all in the lower social ranking, so you would think they would all stick together, but we have one of the sisters, or two of the sisters, Rose and Marigold, who are bitches.
They're so evil. Every time Rose would open up her mouth, I literally was like, here she goes again.
Yep.
God damn Rose.
I hated her so much. I could have done this whole story without Rose. I hated her so much.
Maybe not without her.
Without her.
No.
Cut her out.
No.
You're right, because then who would have given her the nickname Malice.
Exactly.
Malice.
She kept
that was Rose.
She kept calling her Malice.
Bitch.
Which is kind of rude, honestly.
I know. Ugh, I did not like the sisters. Did like Laurel though. Laurel was really sweet.
Don't like Laurel. I fucking hated Laurel.
Okay.
And then
why? I'm talking about beginning Laurel. Wait. No, even okay.
Well, okay, even in the beginning, I did appreciate that she would at least sometimes reach out to Alice and be like, thinking of you, girly. you know? Like, you fucking, yes, give us nothing, queen. Oh my god, I didn't like Laurel because I felt that she didn't do enough.
Okay.
Because Alice was bullied so badly by Rose. I just really wanted someone to actually be there for her, comforting her, consoling her. And I know we're not talking about the ending just yet, but when that happened, I was like, I fucking knew I hated her for a reason. Fuck that bitch.
And you know what's funny? You would think that a wisdom grace, which is Laurel, would be out there freaking correcting everyone and be like, you know, this is why Alice is good. So shut up. I was going to call her bitch. Shut up, bro.
Yeah. But no.
She didn't. I liked her, though. Any other characters you want to talk about? Oh! What did you feel about Cal? Pre-Cal. Pre-calculus.
Pre-calculus. I loved his character.
I really loved his character, too. I thought that it was so sad, his situation of always being alone. Mm-hmm. And even when Alice would go visit him, because Cal is the one who was training her to learn how to use her shifter magic.
Mm-hmm. And also just to understand her abilities more in general, because she was using her powers incorrectly. She was using it as a grace, but she's actually a villa. And so he told her, your magic is special because you don't rely on elixirs. You just have to really concentrate on what you want, you know, to do with your magic, and then it'll happen.
One thing that I really liked, well, two things that I liked about Cal is the fact that anytime she would come over, he was always so excited to see her, and also so, like, I don't know, just very sad with the fact of being alone. Because there was this one scene where he was like, oh, you didn't bring your little friend, because she always used to bring her bird Callow with her. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned, like, oh, I'll let Callow know that you thought of him. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, thank you. Okay, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Cal. And even the part where Alice tried freeing Cal for the first time from the bindings that were holding him to that tower.
Because she had been practicing her magic, so she felt confident in trying.
And she almost died. And the first thing Cal did when she was, like, you know, regaining consciousness or, like, getting, like, her headspace okay, he hugged her. Mm-hmm. Felt so bad. And he was like, you know, you never have to do that again. Like, don't do that for me. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was really sweet. I feel pretty much the same. I really loved his character. I loved that he helped her become more confident in her magic and actually view it in a different way, because he was the one who initially kept being persistent on seeing her magic in a different way. And he would tell her, like, your magic isn't evil, your magic isn't vile. It's just that's what everyone wants you to think, but it's not true.
Mm-hmm. This story, to my surprise, even though I knew it was in the LGBTQ section, was not expecting it to be about Alice and Aurora.
Tea.
How did you feel when it first, like, the little first sprinkle of Aurora and Alice?
This story was obviously a Sleeping Beauty retelling, even though I didn't know. When it got to, like, the first inkling of, I don't even remember what the first thing I saw was, but I was like, oh my god, wait, hello, is this Maleficent?
Yeah.
Aurora? Hello, T. What did you ask?
How did you feel when you got that first inkling of it being Aurora and Alice?
I was so excited. I was really excited. And then I actually wrote a note of, I think it was like the 50th time that Aurora had to kiss a man and it, you know, nothing happened. I wrote, I think that it's not working because she needs to be in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
I know.
Are her parents there? I really loved it. What about you? Even though when did you get the first inkling? Because apparently it went in over your head.
Wait, hold on. I need to find it because I marked it.
I mean, it was very obvious when Alice kept getting jealous. Because Alice kept getting jealous of someone who Princess Aurora was actually befriending. It was some prince from another country or another kingdom. And Alice would ask her, like, well, why do you seem so excited about it? Like why is this one so different? And she was getting jealous, even though Alice didn't really accept her own feelings just yet. She was still acting really passive aggressive with her.
Yeah. I remember there was a scene after they had met for the first time, Alice and Aurora, where when they were talking, they had just like mentioned like, oh yeah, true love's first kiss. Who said that it can't be a woman and a woman? And I literally like I turned off my screen and I was like, wait, are they?
Are they?
Them?
Uh-huh.
And I was so fucking shook. Has that ever happened in a retelling in Sleeping Beauty retelling? Have there been other Sleeping Beauty retellings?
I mean, technically Maleficent is one.
Did it happen? Did Angelina Jolie?
No.
Oh my gosh. I was so excited. I was so excited too because throughout their interactions in this book, you can tell that Aurora was not being disingenuous with her like interest in Alice.
Like who she was as a person.
Yeah, everything about Alice was like, oh my god, you're so fucking cool. And there's even a point where Aurora calls Alice beautiful, and Alice is like, I'm not fucking beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, because you're unlike the other Graces that you can tell,
change themselves up.
Like you are you.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that scene too in freaking Cal's tower where Alice is practicing shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, shift to what you want to shift to. And it was before, she even thought of anything of Aurora. And she closes her eyes, and the only thing she thinks of, no one in particular, she's like, I want to be beautiful. I want to be beautiful. And when she opens her eyes, she noticed that she made herself into Aurora.
Yeah. And that was before anything actually happened between them.
Yeah.
I think even before they became like friends.
Yeah.
It was really sweet.
I know. I thought they were beautiful.
I agree. So, because of everything that Alice has had to endure with, people just freaking hating her for who she is.
Yeah.
She's very careful with Aurora, especially in the beginning, because she doesn't really trust her. So when Aurora just genuinely wants friendship, Alice is just like, no, like you can't, you obviously don't see me like that. You're just trying to use me like everybody else.
And even when they were about to like start becoming friends, as soon as Aurora's mom talked to Alice and was like, don't hang out with her, Alice is like, oh, she's fucking right. Who did I think I was for even considering that friendship?
To hang out with the princess? Like, who am I? But there was a moment when Alice is showing how insecure she is about the relationship, and she doesn't want to be around Aurora anymore. She says, don't look at me that way. What else am I supposed to think? Spoiled princess, you were done playing with your dark race, so you threw me away. And Aurora's like, stop it, like, stop saying that. And Alice says, there's nothing for me here. I'm tired of being a villain. And Aurora says, you were never a villain to me. Which is like the sweetest thing ever.
That is really sweet.
I think at that point was when Alice was trying to leave already. Like, she was like, I need GTFO.
Yeah.
So, I really loved their relationship together. It was really sweet.
Do you remember the part where they were talking because there was a part where Aurora was like, I literally have to start coming during your work hours. as a patron to fucking talk to you.
Yeah, because Alice was avoiding her.
Yeah, but Aurora started coming during the patron hours, during the work hours, to talk to Alice, and they were both trying to figure out how to, reverse her curse. But when they were doing that, we are told that Aurora has been talking to this prince in a correspondence between letters, but talks about him differently than the other suitors that she's had.
Yeah, I already mentioned that.
Okay, but there was one scene I wanted to mention. I really like that part where when they were talking about their future, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be queen. You're going to be my right-hand gal, Who better than you? And freaking Alice is so touched by this.
She actually almost cries about it.
Yeah, but then they have a moment where they're like looking at each other and it's like...
Alice is so grateful that she leans in. And
they were gonna kiss. But your favorite character, Laurel, came in and ruined it.
Yeah, she did. Another reason why I hate that bitch. So, Aurora's dad, King Turkin, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Don't really know.
Is Briar his title or their last name?
Briar is the place. So they do say King
of Briar.
King Briar, I think they also address him as.
Okay.
I don't know. Who cares? Aurora's dad, he reaches out to Alice after she makes a little bit of a mistake. Mm-hmm. She thought that she could cure someone who was on their deathbed, and she was like, if I just focus on his blood hard enough, maybe I can purify it. But that's not her power. That's not her specialty. Yep. So she accidentally killed him.
But he was already dying.
He was already dying.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Exactly.
It's all good.
It's fine. It's fine. So I'm just going to call him King Briar because, it sounds cuter. Okay. King Briar hears of this and he's like, oh my God, she's a little baddie. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I need her. I need that power. And so he tells her, how about we make a little bit of a deal? You do my bidding and I'll give you a whole bunch of coin. A whole bunch of coin. And she really wants to escape this place. So she ends up agreeing.
And does not tell Aurora.
Doesn't tell anybody. Oh no, she does tell Cal.
But the type of things that the king makes her do is like basically like, can you make something that'll paralyze someone? And it's like
a ring or something. Like a cuff.
It was a bracelet that was used to paralyze a Grace who was basically put in front of everyone and made to bleed out because she had broken a Grace law.
Yeah, there's many Grace laws.
Yeah, it's like a torture things that she's being made to do.
But she has no context. So he'll just give her a bracelet and he'll say the instructions and she has no idea what he's going to use it for. Mm-hmm. So initially she's just like, well, I don't know what they did. I don't know who it's for. So I'm going to just do it. And I'm going to look away. And she does make a lot of money from doing him favors.
Yes, she does.
How did you feel about that, though? Like, when that whole scene was happening and she was doing these things for him, how did you feel about it?
I feel like in her position, I would have done the same thing. Mm. I mean, if you're in a world that fucking hates you, yeah, you're becoming and crushing on a friend. Mm. Okay, but you grew up in a world where things were never easy. I would do the same thing. Yeah. I would start to feel bad when I start seeing my consequences as Alice did. Mm-hmm. But I understand why she did it.
Yeah, and even Cal was like, I know you feel bad, but you're making that coin, girl. Yep. So he even advised her too, like, maybe you should just keep going. Keep it going.
And she's like,
just because you said that, I will. You mentioned that she was tortured. Mm-hmm. And there's a certain character in this book who did the torturing. How did you feel about him?
I'm trying to remember what scene you're talking about.
It was literally after she was doing the king's bidding and the guy shows up at her doorstep and is like, kind of weird that people in the court are slowly like being taken down by like magical things. And he's like, I just know it has your blood all over it.
Isn't it so funny though that she got called out for that when it started to be higher ups, but she's literally freaking wrecking havoc as a job in normal settings. So I'm kind of like,
It's because it was part of the king's court, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. So I'm like, bitch.
And the character's name is Endelwild?
Yeah.
Or Endelwild? I don't think it's wild, but...
Yeah, he's dumb.
But yeah, so he warned her, like, I know that technically he works for the king, but not completely, because he's his own person.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I can kill you if I know that you're breaking Grace laws.
Mm-hmm. Near the end of the novel, they do have a second bash because she's probably not gonna reach 21, so might as well have a birthday bash now. No, it's just not. It's a normal party, but it was because the prince that Aurora was talking to was going to come and visit and give her a kiss, and Alice gets a little jelly, only because Aurora starts to mention this prince by first name, Elias. And actually is very expectant of the outcome of their kiss. Like, she really, really wants it to work.
It's because their star charts are compatible.
Yeah, so she's like, it's
in the stars.
I have to. It's gotta work. So she starts to even mention Elias by his first name and is really hopeful that this is going to work. This kiss is going to work and finally break the curse.
Because keep in mind, she only has 3 months to live.
Yeah, and Alice forgets that and in jealousy is like, yeah, but doesn't consider that. And in jealousy is like, what have I been doing for you? Like, I've been trying to help you break this curse without a true love's kiss. Does that mean nothing to you? And it's like, yes, it does, but you have to realize I'm gonna fucking die soon.
Yeah.
So this needs to happen. It's not like we're gonna get married. We're just gonna work together. And then Alice starts to feel stupid and is like, oh.
But they don't have this conversation until they actually kiss in front of everyone and the curse does not break.
Yeah, Elias and Aurora.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So then when Alice and Aurora are having this conversation in private, Aurora reveals that there is only one person she wants to kiss. She's never wanted to kiss anyone else. And Alice is like, well, spill the tea.
Well,
who is it you want to kiss?
Well, remember, she has 3 months left to live.
Yeah.
And she tells Alice, I've had enough. I've kissed enough men in my life. Because she's not allowed to kiss any women. Like, she's strictly only forced to kiss men. And she's had to kiss men since she was literally a child.
Yeah.
And
I didn't...
men of all ranges of age.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Because I read that part really quick. She was 8 and there was like another guy who was like 30.
Yeah, she was forced to kiss like a whole bunch of men because I think one of her aunts or somebody in her bloodline, their soulmate, or sorry, their whoever broke their curse was in their 30s.
While the family member was hella young. So they have this conversation and Aurora is like, I only want to kiss one person in this world. And, Alice is like, but you gotta keep kissing them because...
Yeah,
nunca sabes.
Yeah, nunca sabe. Uno nunca sabe. That what does that translate to? One can never know. No, one can never know for sure, right? Aurora tells her, I've kissed enough men in my life. I'm done. I'm tired. These next 3 months are mine. And I don't care what my parents say. I'm tired of, spending her whole life trying to break the curse.
Yeah.
And Alice feels bad because she was feeling so jealous that she was making her feel guilty for being excited to kiss Elias. And so she's like, maybe don't give up. Hold on. Maybe don't give up. But then that's when Aurora tells her, like, I only want to kiss one person.
That's you, bitch.
That's you, bitch. Actually, she says, can I kiss you?
Yeah.
And Alice is like, I didn't bring chapstick, but I guess.
Okay. I didn't bring chapstick. Just kidding. Takes it off. But they kiss. And it was such a good kiss that the world
shook. There was an earthquake.
Oh my gosh.
There was a little earthquake. That was crazy.
Yeah, and Aurora was shielded by Alice because there was like a lot of things falling. And
oh yeah, so Alice like pushed her to the ground and like got on top of her so she wouldn't get hurt.
And Alice is like, are you okay? Like, did you get hurt? And Aurora is looking and notices that her curse is gone.
Her curse is broken, yeah.
Her true love.
Because she got true love's first kiss.
The end.
Oh, if
Can you
only.
imagine?
If only. It's so funny because I think at that point I was like, don't you just wish?
Is that when you mentioned that? Because
Yeah.
you did say that today.
So we read the story today, but I was ahead of you.
Yeah.
By like a bit.
100 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I got to that point, I just like put my tablet on my chest and I was like, don't you ever get to a point in a story where you just wish that it would end right there? Like, just,
Yep.
I don't even want to move on anymore. I'm good right there.
Yep, that's how I felt because everything goes to shit right after.
Well, they have sex.
They have sex and it's so cute. Oh my god.
She's literally like worshiping Alice and Alice is like, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous though. It's so cute. But then literally the day after, shit hits the fan.
Because Aurora's like, if I tell my parents that it was you, then they'll just let me marry you. Like, they have to let me marry you.
And it's so funny because Alice was like, I thought you didn't want to get married.
Well, now I do.
Well, now I do, so don't bring it up.
But as soon as they tell the parents are like, oh, well, specifically King Briar. It's like, oh, funny that you want to marry the Dark Grace, who has been working for me, helping me fucking... What was I saying?
He's been having her take down his council because remember, the council, or who, I don't know if it's the council, whatever. They're the ones who keep everything in check. So when things happen, like let's say they go to war, they all have to vote on it. But a lot of them are like in a sleeping curse.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, well, I guess it's up to me then. Looks like we're going to war.
Yep. And Aurora feels so betrayed because...
Well, at first she doesn't believe him, but then Alice is like, I mean, I kind of had to.
And she starts piecing everything together.
Like all the money that she had? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she saw all of the gold that she had obtained.
Yep.
Goddamn.
And then it gets worse because when, Alice just wants all this to stop, wants King Briar to stop, she gets a little violent and tries to kill him. And Aurora says no, because that's her fucking dad. Aurora says no, though, because she says no.
Yeah. I mean,
And then Alice feels horrible.
It's so funny because we're like trying to justify like why she would say no.
Because she said no.
That's her dad.
That's her fucking dad.
He's a piece of shit. He literally was like, I mean, if you don't do what I say, I'll just kill her. I'm just...
And then Alice tries freaking killing the dad, and then Aurora's like, but what if you didn't mean it, though?
I know he just said that he wanted me to die, but it was a joke.
It was a joke.
God, that man. But how did you feel about that whole reveal? Like him saying that he didn't even really care that his daughters died. Because Aurora was the youngest of three.
Yes. I hate that man. I hate that man. What's the fucking point? And you know what's freaking cherry on top too? He's over here freaking making all the commands, but he's not even part of the bloodline of royalty. He was married in.
Yeah.
And that's mentioned later, like, he shouldn't even be able to control that. It should be the mom's last say for anything that she wants to do. But I was really sad when Aurora kind of looked at Alice in like a fearful way. And Alice was like, I'm a monster now because I tried killing her fucking dad. That's what she wanted. Mixed signals, babe. Like, I don't know what you want me to...
Babe!
Kill your dad, go to a barbecue with your dad. You need to decide now.
Babe, I thought that wink that you gave me meant kill him. Come on. You need to work on your signals. God damn.
But Alice ends up getting sent to the dungeon. To the dungeon
she goes.
And is quickly saved. Whatever, things happen. Quickly saved by Laurel and Aurora. And I did want to ask you about that scene. Only because, do you think Aurora should have forgiven her that quickly?
Alice?
I kind of wish... Because I didn't want them to fight. I wanted them to stay together forever.
I didn't forever. Okay, hating game.
Thank you.
I feel the same way as you. I didn't want them to fight only because they only really had like one day. Like one day where they were honest with each other about their feelings. So when that whole thing was happening, I was like, are you really gonna trust this man? Mm-hmm. He just said he wanted to kill you. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that she didn't hold it against her. But she does tell her, I don't forgive you, but I'm gonna get you out of here.
Yeah. But
I mean,
they kissed too. Through the freaking railing, which, by the way, that's awkward. It's like
hello?
You're kissing, but the metal, the bar is right in between your lips. And they're like making out, and Laurel's like, cool,
chill.
Gotta escape.
I think
another 5 minutes? Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
I think I hear the king coming.
I know.
So they're thinking of ways to take down the king without actually killing the king.
Yes.
And Alice remembers that she made that sleeping curse. And she's like, oh my God, I can do it again. And I can bestow it on your father.
Yes.
But she has
long enough for them to do something about
the whole war that he wants to incite.
Yeah.
But then what happens?
I don't fucking remember. Honestly, it's a blur because I know that as soon as they get out, they're going to plan to meet again later. So Alice goes to visit Cal.
Well, Alice isn't leaving without Cal.
Oh,
she already made up her mind. She's like, you know what? I got to go get Cal, but I'm going to meet you guys in this spot at this time. See you there.
But
and
you know what?
She goes to Cal.
And Cal, because first of all, Cal was like, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not going back.
I'm not staying here.
Yeah, I'm not living here. Like this place has shown me so much pain.
Sucks.
Yeah. So you know what? You go. Because you weren't even going to free me. You go. Mm-hmm. And then Alice feels bad and is like, no, I will free you. I will break this curse because I promised I would.
But he tells her, he doesn't tell her no, but he doesn't want her to do it at the same time because it hurt her last time.
Yes.
So he's like, maybe don't. Maybe don't.
She does anyway and breaks the curse. She breaks the curse. But guess what? Cal
is nothing but a man.
Es muy mal.
It's muy mal.
He's a malo.
That's weird that you just said that. Because in one of my notes, it autocorrected to Mel. And I was like, what he is though. I was high-key betrayed. I wrote a note somewhere in that sequence of him being like, oh my God, you're really gonna let me free of this place that he's been stuck in for who knows how long. I literally wrote a note like, I swear to God, this will be the biggest betrayal of my life. If it goes where I think it's going. And it fucking did. It fucking went where I did not want it to go. But it made sense though, because we were near the end of the book. Yep. And so I knew that something had to happen.
For it to get even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I found the scene, by the way, that I talked about earlier, the first time that they mentioned it being an LGBTQ. Mm. And it was when she went to the apothecary to go get supplies. Mm. And Hild, the worker there, mentioned, oh, you look happy. You find a special someone? And that was the first time it was mentioned that she had a crush on Aurora. But the reason I bring that up is because that ending with Cal threw me off so fucking much. I thought halfway through this book, well, let me just read you my note. At this point, I fear that this is where it's going to start becoming like the actual story. I fear that Alice is accidentally going to poison Aurora, and in order to ensure her being alive, is going to do the true love's first kiss shit. She's probably going to get Aurora to bring her back. Or she's probably going to kiss Aurora to bring her back, but trick her into thinking that someone else is her true love, like Cal. That's what I thought, and it was going to be a weird age difference, but at least both of them are safe. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's what I thought was going to happen, because I thought that the story was going to fall into place with Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm. But it kind of is going that way. It's just not Cal.
No. After the betrayal...
Why does he betray her?
Why does he betray her?
He's stuck stuck in this place, but he's not stuck alone. He is stuck with a villa, right? Like he's stuck with the villa that placed the curse on Aurora. Mm-hmm. Or they both did. One or the other. To be honest, I was really sad.
Put her in a little...
Couldn't see past the tears, you know?
A little necklace.
Yeah, so the villa, which... Something like that. She is in his necklace. So he was never entirely alone, but he was kind of alone.
Yeah.
And so he frees her and he's like, oh my god, sorry Alice, but she kind of needs a vessel. And look at that, you're also a villa. So this works out in my favor.
And exactly when that happens, Aurora comes to meet them. And it was supposed to be Laurel coming to meet them. But Aurora came instead just to be safe.
So Mortania gets into Alice. And at first, Alice feels completely normal. She's just like, oh my god, it didn't work.
Oh, great.
Nothing happened. And when Mortania is in her, she's like telling her, oh, my little pet, we're going to have so much fucking fun. And she's just like, you know what? I never liked Cal. So you know what? Let's kill him. So Alice kills him.
Yep. But
Rip.
Aurora also took a pretty nasty blow.
Mm-hmm.
She died, right? Aurora died at this point.
Or she was dying.
She was dying. And Alice feels horrible because technically it is her fault.
Yeah, and this is when Endelwild shows up and he's like, I knew it! I fucking knew you were doing something. Why do you think he was chained to this place? Don't you think? Like, hello? Do you think he was chained here for being a good person?
You think we just put people in towers for 20 years for no reason? No.
And she's like, oh, I thought you did. My bad. Anyway, so he is the one who takes Aurora and he takes her to the Lavender House, right? Because he's trying to heal her. And we find out that she was put under a sleeping curse. Mm-hmm. Here we go again. But they take her back to the castle. Which, hello?
Because Alice was not going to be able to see her again. Mm-hmm. They were going to marry Aurora off to Elias, and that was going to be it. But Alice is like, that's my fucking girl. That's my girl.
Oh, but it's really sad because she tried breaking the sleeping curse, and it didn't work.
So she's like, I need to get her out of there. I need to get her out of there. But now she's got her friend Mortania in her. So Alice goes over and
to the castle.
Yeah. And is going to take Aurora, but crashes into our girl Laurel. Can you explain that scene? Because I read that scene so fast.
Alice goes into the room where Aurora is. And then Laurel either is already there or she walks in, one or the other. And Laurel is like, what are you doing here? Like, she's under a sleeping curse, but somebody else is meant to break the curse. It's not for you. It's not going to work. It's best if you leave, blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. And Alice tells her, well, Alice is freaking out at this point. And she's just like, no, what are you talking about? Like, I love her. Like, we're supposed to be together, whatever. And Laurel reveals a little juicy detail that she has always been working for Endelwild, the one who literally tortured Alice as a baby and did experiments on her. And she reveals to her that, well, I've always been working under him, and I was actually sent to the Lavender House to watch you. Yep. And I would report back to him everything that you did. And at one point, all of the gold that she had accumulated from her little biddings with the King of Briar, that was stolen. And Laurel basically told her then and there that it was her who took it.
Yeah. And Alice was over it at this point and was like, you a bitch? You a dead bitch now. And fucking kills Laurel. And no remorse, because she even mentions it's like, okay, now that's 2 deaths.
Yeah, that's 2 deaths. She's like, two deaths in one day.
This Wednesday's crazy.
About to do a third one.
I know. Can maybe put in another 3 or 10. I don't know. Okay, we'll see. But she does not listen to Laurel, kills her, goes to Aurora, and just grabs her and escapes with her by morphing into a creature that sounded like a dragon. Big bird.
So. Big bird. Big bird, big wings.
Yeah. And during her escape, realizes that she She can't come back.
And she and Mortania are literally one. Like, they're together now.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels her power in her, too. And she ends the book by saying that she is no longer Alice or even Malice. Like, she's a completely different person now.
She says that those names no longer exist. And she hears Mortania speaking to her in her mind and says, "What shall we call you then, pet?" And she thinks of a new name, which is Nimara.
Mm-hmm.
What does Nimara stand for?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I finished that, because that's the last page, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as I finished that, I was literally trying to be like, is that their ship name? Did she want to put Aurora? Did she want to put Mortania? Did she want to throw in a little Cal in there? Or like,
I don't know.
Nimara, like, kind of sounds like Nimata. You know, like she doesn't kill people.
But she does, though.
You kill 2 people and all of a sudden you're a murderer? No, okay.
Well, technically she's responsible for a lot more, so...
Well, if you want to get into technicalities, but it's the principle of it.
Alright, I think this one is probably the most detailed we've gone into.
I didn't mean to get that detailed, but this was fresh in my mind.
I know that we already discussed the characters.
Yes.
But now that we revealed that Alice was literally betrayed by the 2 people that she trusted the most in this story.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Because Alice, she didn't trust easily.
No, she didn't. And she always thought to herself, like, no one likes me. I'm never going to have friends. And, you know, through this story, that perspective started to slowly change, but it was still true at the end to her. Mm. Everyone betrayed her, except for Aurora, but Aurora's not
technically
conscious.
We didn't even say it. Technically, she is going to end up betraying her because they rearranged her memories.
Oh, yeah, because Aurora, when she wakes up, is going to be fearful of the Dark Grace. Mm-hmm. So...
Goddamn. So she's going to be betrayed by her, too.
Yep.
Unintentionally, but still. That was really sad. Yeah. I felt really bad for her, and I thought it made complete sense why she would become more malicious, especially at the end. And not even just because Mortania was in her, but also just those 2 betrayals, especially Carol.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Really? That one got you more?
Yeah. I don't give a fuck about Laurel. Fuck that bitch.
Love that for you.
Yeah. I expected it. Mm-hmm. From her. Not from Carol, though.
Anything else you want to say?
I think we've said a lot.
We have said a lot.
That's good. We're good.
We're good. Okay, that's it.
Thank you so much for watching.
Blah, blah, blah.
You read this in one sitting.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Good.
Yeah?
I feel good. I will be honest with you. I had to reread the first 10 pages, like, a lot, but I kept getting distracted. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And also really hungover and tired this morning,
So true. That's on us.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about the story?
Can I say it?
Yeah, we're here. We've reached the end. Now,
wait.
Now we can be honest.
Before that, can you guess what rating I'm going to give it and what I feel about it? You give it a 5 out of 5. I believe that you do. And your reasoning? That's it. That's your reasoning. It's just silence.
There's no reason. I would have guessed that you gave it a 5 out of 5.
Okay. Why?
Why?
Why would I do that?
Not because you have, this special connection with Sleeping Beauty, but just because you were surprised that it was sapphic.
I'm sorry to say, I did not give it a 5 out of 5.
I gave it a 7 out of 5.
I gave it a 6 out of 5. Thank you. One more, but not 2. It's too far.
Uh-huh.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed reading this book a lot. The writer's choice of progression through the story kind of gave me the ick. It gave me the ick.
Oh, yeah. Tell me what... You said that. When you were reading, you said this is giving me the ick. What part?
Oh my gosh. I need to remember. But her writing felt so fucking long. Like, everything about what she was saying always felt like, I don't fucking care about every detail of Rose doing the blood thinning thing. Like, I just felt like she, like, yeah, it was a sad thing, but the writing went on forever. It dragged on parts that I didn't think needed to drag for as long as it did. That kind of gave me the ick.
Just the dragging?
Yeah, that writing threw me off.
I don't think you know what an ick is.
That gave me the ick. That gave me the ick.
Thank you. I gave you an example.
No, but
of
okay,
what
fine.
the ick is.
Fine, I'll just say it like this. That kind of threw me off because I don't like that style of writing. That reminds me a lot of The Hobbit.
Did you read The Hobbit?
I've read a little bit of it, but that reminds me of The Hobbit because of, like, trying to make purpose out of every little thing. So, like, the author of The Hobbit will be like, oh yeah, we sat in a chair. That was grandfather's chair. Grandfather used to always love playing guitar. And guitar was his favorite thing because his grandfather taught it to him. And it's like, okay, just it's this fucking chair. Like, you don't need to get into details about it. That's what I felt this writing was like a little bit. Yeah. But I thought the dialogue was really good. I love Aurora so much. Specifically Aurora. She's my girl. She's my girl.
My girl right there.
And their relationship was really, really cute. Their relationship.
Yeah.
Meant everything to me. Caught me by surprise. Even though I knew it was LGBTQ, my two brain cells didn't mesh together. You know? I give it a 4 out of 5. I would read again. I actually, as soon as I finished it, I texted Melissa and told her, you need to read this book. Like, this is a you book. I feel like you'd like it. And she said she'd be down.
Really?
She'd be down.
We need to have, like, a book club.
We do.
Just the 3 of
Maybe
us.
she should follow us on Goodreads.
She does.
Oh, she does! Oh my gosh, our book club is starting. 4 out of 5. What's your rating?
Well, I was a little conflicted, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I love fantasy. And specifically, fantasy with romance. Love. I did really appreciate that the author took the time to really build the world.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I did not really like how she did her world building.
Okay.
I think it was too much in one. I kind of wish that the world building would have been more focused in just more of like the actual scenes with the characters.
And we would learn it like that instead of just telling us everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I do understand because there's a lot that happened, especially with the different types of magic. If the story had less of that, my rating would be higher.
It gave you the ick.
It did not give me the ick. Stop saying that. Because a lot of the times people complain about info dumping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think it's, I as a writer, it is really difficult to know when it's too much. But there were so many moments when it was too much. I had to reread the first, when did it, like the first
Fae
30
thing?
Like the first 30 pages, I struggled so much to get through it. And I knew that I would like the story, but the beginning was so rough for me that it took me so long to actually get into the rhythm of, oh my God, this is it.
Yes, me too. It took me until probably like page 40 or 50 where I was like into it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm here.
There we go. You described the ick better than I did.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll stop. Because it is the world building. It's the freaking making paragraphs and paragraphs of things that I hope I can just learn about later. Because they kept repeating the history of the Fae, of like the magic. And I was like, oh.
And to be honest, it didn't even like, it didn't stick. Because it was such a drag to read about.
It didn't stick. It icked. Thank you.
And that concludes. I'm just kidding. And there's another thing that I really did not like about this book that I didn't even mention. One of my biggest pet peeves in books is the amnesia trope. I fucking hate when a character gets amnesia. And I know it didn't actually happen in the book, but just the thought of Aurora literally forgetting everything, I was so mad. I was so angry I already hated Laurel. So when Laurel said that, I was like, you fucking bitch. I was so upset about it.
It is upsetting because it's just like nothing matters. Like all that we just went through.
And I mean, she kissed her, so like if it's not true love's kiss, then what is it? Like what are we?
What are we? But what do you rate it?
Wait, I'm not done.
Okay. I want to know.
Okay, anyway. The romance itself, loved. Absolutely loved.
Yes.
Aurora, queen. And Alice, I really liked seeing her development and seeing how the world treated her, you know. I didn't love it, but I liked seeing it because it made sense with how she ended up at the end.
Yes.
I would give this book, and I feel so bad saying it. I would probably give this book like a 3.6.
Okay.
For the world building alone and because of the amnesia. But if the world building would have been better.
I thought you were going to give it a 2. I was scared.
No, I mean, I really liked it, and I really want to read the next one.
I do too. I'm excited.
Me too.
Oh, gosh.
But
that concludes our episode. I just kind of want to sit here and just talk about Aurora.
Just
and
process everything.
Yeah. Just talk about all our favorite moments, but we can't do that. It's the end of the episode.
I gotta say, though, that betrayal really did hurt, though.
It did hurt a lot.
Goddamn.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Now I'm in a bad mood.
Why?
I just wanted it to be a happy ending. But it's okay. Because it will be. I'm manifesting it.
It's already written.
No, I'm manifesting it. It's going to be a happy ending. Okay, thank you.
Okay. No
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you are listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get podcasts from, if you leave a rate and review, I'll love you forever. That would be so amazing. Also, just letting your friends and family know about us, because the best way to get exposure is through word of mouth. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you can like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell, that makes a huge difference. If you want to follow us on social media, which we have been trying to use a lot more recently, and I think we're really funny on there. So if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Goodreads by looking up Story and Things, StoryNThings, Story and Things. So we're going to go ahead and end this episode the way we always do, which is rolling a die. So when we land on an odd number, we're going to read a negative review from Goodreads. If we land on an even number, we're going to read a positive review from Goodreads. But we're not connected to these reviews. We don't feel about the book this way. We feel, but do we understand?
But we won't say.
Oh.
It's a mystery.
Okay. But we're going to go ahead and read a review. Our number is a 7. You have to read a negative review.
So much positivity. This book has really high ratings.
You gotta find something bad, though.
All right, this comes from Goodreads. It's written by Amy. They gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and they write, I found it to be extremely slow-paced, very invested in its info dumping, and overall the plot refused to surprise me at every turn. Alice, the main character, was surprised by the plot's events, but I, as the reader, found the blueprint extremely easy to read, and therefore had a hard time staying engaged.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye!
So are we pre-ordering?
I already did.
Oh my god. Swipe that credit card. I'm
Love
so
that for us.
excited.
Love it. I won't cry, I promise.
Thank god it's a duology though. I don't think I can do like a fucking
3 books.
6 book series.
Oh, hell no.